On a calm night in August 2001, passengers aboard Air Transat Flight 236 expected nothing more than a routine flight across the Atlantic. But at 33,000 feet, something happened that should never happen to an aircraft in midair. The plane ran out of fuel. Yes, a massive Airbus A330 carrying 306 souls on board suddenly became a powerless glider over the middle of the ocean. How did the pilots manage the impossible and land the aircraft safely? This is the incredible story of Flight 236, the airplane that survived without fuel. The journey of the Air Transat Flight 236 began like any other. The flight departed from Toronto, Canada, heading to Lisbon, Portugal. Families, tourists, business travelers, all strapped in for a 7-hour journey. Inside the cockpit, Captain Robert Piché and First Officer Dirk de Jager monitored their instruments. Both were highly experienced. To everyone on board, it was just another night sky crossing. But about halfway across the Atlantic, strange readings appeared. The fuel system was showing imbalances. One tank seemed to be draining faster than the other. Was it a sensor error or something far more dangerous? The pilots, cautious but calm, followed procedures. They adjusted fuel pumps, rerouted supply lines, and monitored gauges closely. But the imbalance grew worse. Unknown to the crew, a fuel leak was silently emptying the tanks. The cause? A maintenance error had left hydraulic lines rubbing against a fuel pipe, creating a fracture. Fuel, the lifeblood of the aircraft, was pouring out into the night sky. As minutes passed, the Airbus A330 was bleeding thousands of pounds of fuel into the ocean, and no one realized until it was too late. Then, at 65,000 feet above the Azores Islands, the unimaginable happened. Both engines shut down. The cabin went silent. No hum of turbines, no reassuring vibration of engines, just the rush of wind outside. Imagine sitting in your seat and suddenly realizing your plane has no power. With no engines, the plane lost thrust. But it didn't just fall from the sky. It began gliding. Captain Piché and his first officer now faced a nearly impossible task. Glide a 200-ton Airbus A330 over 120 kilometers to the nearest airport, Lajes Field, in the Azores. The pilots ran through emergency checklists. With no engines, hydraulics failed. But the A330 had a special backup, a small wind-powered turbine called a Air Turbine, or RAT. It generated just enough power for basic flight controls. Incredibly, the crew still had limited steering. Meanwhile, passengers began to realize something was wrong. The cabin was eerily quiet. Flight attendants moved quickly, reassuring passengers, but tension was thick in the air. Some prayed. Some held hands. Others simply stared out the windows into the dark ocean below. Minute by minute, the plane lost altitude from 33,000 feet down to 20,000, then 15,000. The island of Terceira, home to Lajes Air Base, came into sight. But another problem appeared. The descent angle was too steep. If they came in too fast, the landing could end in disaster. That's why the pilot decided to perform a 360-degree turn. Once completed, the distance from the airport remained the same, but the altitude had dropped to 5,000 feet, still too high for a safe landing. Therefore, the pilot executed a series of S-turns to lose altitude and gain time. At last, the Airbus touched down hard. Tires screeched, landing gear strained, and sparks flew as the aircraft bounced. But finally, it came to a stop. 306 lives were saved. Against all odds, not a single passenger died. Flight 236 became an aviation legend. The crew received awards for extraordinary skill and calm under pressure. The Airbus A330 had glided over 120 kilometers without engines, setting a world record. Aviation schools around the world still study this flight as an example of professionalism, training, and human courage. If you found this story inspiring or fascinating, Make sure to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to MKTV News. Thanks for watching.